Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales, a place you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tai Tiger. Today's story is a partner story, our partner being Cosplay Dude 637. He's a partner of Tiger Tales and of course he now has some of his stories on Tiger Tales. This is a continuation of his X-Men storyline. Originally put on the Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637 podcast, it is now branched to Tiger Tales, and this is where you'll officially find the X-Men storyline. Not only that, this is our first chapter that's officially Tiger Tales partnered and has never been anywhere else. I'm looking forward to this one, so I shall give the mic to Willie, or Cosplay Dude 637, however you want to name him, and the stage is his. The X-Men. Chapter 4. Reuniting.
A week has passed since Beast, Nightcrawler, and Rogue had disappeared from the school. The remaining members of the X-Men, now serving as teachers, had kept the rec room on lockdown to prevent the students from entering.
I really don't know how much longer we can keep the kids out of here,
Kitty said, expressing her concern to her fellow teacher, Bobby. Bobby nodded in agreement, understanding the students' longing for a break and some recreational time. Yeah, I know. That Mikhail kid keeps trying to get in here to play PS4. They're getting restless, he replied. Just as they were discussing the situation, the doors to the rec room swung open, and Beast and Nightcrawler walked in. The students who had been eagerly waiting outside burst into applause and cheers. Kitty and Bobby exchanged surprised glances before rushing over to greet their returning comrades.
Hank, Kirk, you're back,
Kitty exclaimed, relief evident in her voice. Beast smiled, his furry blue face beaming.
Yes, we have returned, my dear Kitty. It's good to be back,
he replied warmly. Nightcrawler nodded, his tail swinging gently behind him. Da, indeed, but our mission was a success, he said. The students gathered around, eager to hear about the daring adventure. Beast and Nightcrawler shared tales of their encounter with the dangerous cult, challenging obstacles they had to face. As the excitement settled down, Beast turned to Kitty and Bobby.
We apologize for causing such disruption and worry, he explained.
Bobby waved off the apology. Don't worry about it. We're just glad both of you made it back safely. Kitty nodded in agreement.
Absolutely, and now that you're back, maybe we can finally open up the rec room. The students have been itching to play some video games.
Beast chuckled.
Indeed, it seems the time for relaxation and recreation is due. Let's lift the lockdown and give them some well-deserved downtime.
With that decision made, Beast and Nightcrawler joined Kitty and Bobby in unlocking the rec room. The students who had been waiting anxiously rushed inside, expressing their gratitude and excitement. As the sound of laughter and playful banter filled the rec room once more, Beast and Nightcrawler took a moment to reflect on their journey. Did you hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
That was a tiger's roar, my dear Eric, and I believe that means that soon we will have a new episode of Tiger Tales on YouTube. If you like Power Rangers, Ben 10, Doctor Who, Pokemon, Walking Dead, Tiger Tales is a place for you on YouTube. Tai Tiger, my Parabatai, goes out and tells stories that he has written. They are amazing and they must be listened to, my friends. Trust me when I tell you, you will not be sorry.
So, you want me to go listen to Tiger Tales on YouTube, right?
That's correct, Eric. You and everybody else, go check out Tiger Tales on YouTube. Meanwhile, Gambit and Rogue were discussing their plans. Having resolved their differences, and with Gambit's newfound immunity to Rogue's powers, they were ready to take the next step in their relationship.
Gambit, sugar, maybe it's time for us to head back to the school?
Rogue suggested, looking into his eyes with a mixture of hope and determination. Gambit nodded, a smile forming on his face. Cher, you read my mind. I miss being a part of something bigger than myself, he replied, taking her hand in his. Rogue's eyes sparkled with joy as she squeezed his hand.
I knew you'd understand, Remy. We have so much to offer, not just to each other, but to the school and its students,
she said. Gambit gave her a evil smile. Do we's got to head back right away, Chef? Rogue pulled him down to her level and smiled up at him.
Well, what do you have in mind, Swamp Rat?
We've been apart for so long, Chef, and now we can touch. I just want to cherish this time, Gambit says and kisses Rogue.
My dear Remy, are you trying to ask me to run off with you?
Rogue asks coyly. Maybe. Is that okay with you, mon chéri? Gambit says, kissing up and down her neck. Rogue moans softly and flips them over so she is sitting on top of Gambit. She smiles.
Sugar, you're all mine, and I am not going to let you go for quite some time.
With that, she pulls off his shirt and starts to kiss down his chest.
Have you been teleported to the past? Or de-aged to look like a kid again? Or have you delivered a message to some strange woman who asks questions all the time? And are you stuck? Well, call TARDIS Taxis, the taxi service that don't get you where you want to go, but where you need to go. To book TARDIS Taxis, simply call the number in last week's paper. Bookings are 6 months in advance. We cannot rearrange your booking, as it may rip a hole in the space-time continuum. Refunds are at the discretion of the Time Lords. Call TARDIS Taxis, and we will get you home. One day.
A young teen girl with a slim build and short, tousled hair. Her eyes are a vibrant shade of green, and she wears a mask to conceal her identity. She dresses in a sleek, black bodysuit with purple accents, walks into a dark room deep under the city.
Master, are you here?
She calls out. A towering figure with glowing eyes and a crackling aura of energy surrounding him. His presence alone can instill fear in the hearts of even the bravest heroes. He bears ancient Greek symbols and motifs across his armor, hinting at his mythological origins. Walks out of the shadows.
What news do you bring me, child?
My Lord Maleficent, I am in, and they have all returned like you said they would.
The girl says, bowing, not looking at the towering man.
Good, then the game will begin.
Maleficent says and waves his hand, and a huge chessboard flies in and sets itself up. Maleficent looks at the girl and smiles, moving one black pawn forward.
Go now, my shifty little spy, and bring me more pawns,
he says, and starts to laugh maniacally.
Do you ever wonder what would happen if
you give a dad a podcast?
Ladies and gentlemen,
settle this debate right here, right now. It's not even just the greatest PlayStation game. It's the greatest game ever.
Not to toot my own horn, but
exactly.
Yeah, I remember he kicked me so hard I thought I owed him money.
I love it. I'm excited for this one.
He goes, "What is your name?" And I was like, "It's Thrash."
I'm getting punched in the face on the daily.
Man, this guy won't shut up.
I wear that as a badge of honor.
Yeah, I got knocked out cold in that match. It was awesome. So awesome.
We make dogs sing.
Do you always do these interviews with your shirt off?
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
So now we've been filming for the last 6 months.
I panicked.
Followed by.
Bro.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast, available everywhere podcasts are found.
After a few months, the two mutant lovebirds moved back into the mansion. When they were settled, they made their way to the rec room where Kitty and Kurt were cuddling on the couch. They were greeted with open arms, thrilled to have their friends back.
Welcome back, you two. We could use some savvy minds around here.
Kitty exclaimed, smiling brightly. Gambit winked playfully. Don't worry, Kitty. Gambit has a few tricks up his sleeves, he teased, earning a chuckle from everyone. Rogue grinned mischievously.
Yes, he does,
she added, her voice laced with confidence.
Oh, gross. Are you two going to be all lovey-dovey now?
Logan says, standing in the doorway. Oh, mon ami Logan! It's nice to see you again, too, Gambit says and winks at him.
Hey there, Gumbo. Nice to see you're not dead.
Logan grins and makes his claws pop out.
I still get that honor.
Gambit pulls out a card and charges it. Name the place and the time, mon ami, he smirks. Now, boys, that is not very becoming of teachers, Jean says, walking in with Betsy and Aurora. Guten Tag, ladies, Kurt says, as they look at the group.
Good, you guys were the last ones we needed to find. The professor would like to see us all in the war room,
Betsy says.
Is something wrong?
Rogue asks.
Don't know. He just asked for us all to come to the war room,
Aurora replied as they all made their way to the lower floors of the mansion.
This story is written and read to you by Cosplay Dude 637, a partner of Tiger Tales. More about his other stories in the outro.
This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zio to Hero, the podcast.
And there we have it, guys. Thank you very much for listening to this story. If you've enjoyed this story, then you might want to check out all of my Tiger Tales channels. I'm going to give you a quick rundown. There's Tiger Tales, the first and the original. This is a place where you'll find stories and fanfictions, diving into all sorts of fandoms, including Power Rangers, Pokemon, The Walking Dead, Marvel, DC, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and so much more. Tiger Tales The Lost Stories follows the same suit, but all the stories on that channel are in the first person perspective. Then there's Tiger Tales Game Over, a channel where all of the storylines are related to video games in some way or another. Then we have Tiger Tales X, where I write official crossovers that aren't needed but are very wanted, and crossovers I thought might work. Then, of course, we have Tiger Tales Mysterious Origins. This is the YouTube channel dedicated to my own original stories. All the stories on this channel are original and my own, and it also answers questions on certain characters throughout my stories, like William Cranston, Mr. Pocket, and Ace from the Color Matrix. If you've enjoyed these storylines, then please make sure you check out the following podcasts. Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637, Power Rangers Universe 19, Sailor Moon E, and The Order. And make sure you check out 2 YouTube channels, Nostalgia Time and the One Piece audio drama. They are all written and read to you and edited by Cosplay Dude 637, my Parabatai and best friend. Then, make sure you check out the podcast Nerds Through Comics, which is directed by Mark, the Red Cornet Ranger. This is where he adapts comic books into audio dramas and also uploads his own original Power Ranger storylines. We are the Three Ranger Bros Studios, a collaborative project, and we are all voice actors and helpers of each other's stuff, so make sure you go check us out. We're in association with the Zio to Hero podcast, so a huge shout out to Billy and Jim, the co-hosts, and of course the podcast and the community that they lead. If we're shouting out podcasts, I have to shout out Jared, the host of If You Give a Damn podcast. Make sure you check it out because he interviews some fantastic guests, from wrestlers to voice actors and the such. And of course, if we're talking podcasts, I have to mention my own, the Tiger Nexus podcast, where I interview content creators and geeks alike. A huge shout out to all my supporters and followers, my voice actors, the people who co-write my chapters, and the sorts. So huge thank you, and of course, a big shout out to A-Crown. Specifically him, because he helps me a lot with some of my stories, specifically the Color Matrix and the chapters that go on Tiger Tales Game Over. Thank you very much guys for listening. Now don't forget to subscribe to the channels, like the videos, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. With that being said, I shall see you guys in the next one.
That before we can
Don't touch my Pringles.